Hey Flosstube, this is Michelle McGraw from Made by Michelle McGraw, and this is Flosstube number 28 for me. It is May the 28th, so that's kind of funny. Not planned, by the way. We had a holiday weekend this week, and very rarely does my husband actually take that holiday. He's normally working on something. Since we own our own business, there's always something to work on. And he actually took the day off on Monday. So I had everybody here. So I wasn't able to film. And then just with everything going on, I have to find those quiet times. I am here alone today. Hopefully I can get through this without any interruptions. My 3 dogs are here. It's totally out of hand. I know, 3, I know. One of them barks, they all bark. Also my cat, although she doesn't do anything. She's not really a cat. So you might see them wander through. You may not, I don't know. Okay, so I did want to say I had some contest winners or stash dive winners. I should call it stash dive. Most of the patterns I give away are patterns that I am done with and I want to share the stash, or something that I have multiples of. For whatever reason, sometimes I get multiples. So I have 2 winners from my Flosstube number 25 that have not reached out and contacted me. So I want to go ahead and mention them again. Not Just Hooked won the mouse chart, which was the sewing mice, and then West Coast Stitcher won the house. So if you 2 will reach out to me, I will get those in the mail to you. I have mailed out all the other ones. I actually got a beautiful card back from Kim thanking me for the giveaway, and I brought it, and I had a bunch of paperwork in my hand. I opened it up at the office and I had a bunch of paperwork in my hand, and for the life of me, that card is somewhere in that paperwork. And I haven't gone through all of it because it's all stuff that I have to do, but I haven't gone through all of it, and so I couldn't find the card to share today. But thank you, Kim, for the card, the thank you card. That was very nice. But the other 2 winners, please reach out to me so I can put those in the mail. You can reach out to me on Instagram. I am Made by Michelle McGraw, or you can reach out to me by Gmail, which my Gmail is madebymichellemcgraw@gmail.com. Either of those 2 platforms, make sure you give me your real name and your YouTube name. So I wanted to do that. If I don't hear from those 2 winners by next Flosstube, I will put those as a giveaway again so that somebody else can win those. I do have a chart today, so stay tuned at the end for a giveaway. It is a new chart, one that apparently I have multiples of. I don't know. But my buying multiples is your gain because I'm going to share it with you. Okay, so I have a lot of whips. I have gotten in several things from stash, but some of those things have already been put away, used in projects. I have gotten some fabric. Some of it's been put away, some of it's been used in projects, so I'm not going to share it, but I have gotten a couple of things. I did start a project, and when I come up on the whip, I will tell you, like, I placed another order for the fabric because I loved it so much. And I will tell you about that when we go through my whips because it's in one of these whips. Okay, so let's see. That is all of kind of the businessy stuff that I wanted to get out of the way. Oh, I do have a little bit of haul, some charts. I will show that. And I have some fabric. So if you are a sewer and you would like to see some fabric haul, I'll do that towards the end because maybe not everybody likes to sew. I am a beginner sewer, as I've said many, many times. I am learning. My goal is to make a quilt one day. I'm going to attempt a table runner first. So we will see how that goes first. But I would love to quilt. I'm working up to it. I've been practicing making project bags. I've been what I call fake quilting on my project bags, and I can show you some of those. I think I have one here. I've showed them on other floss tubes when I made them. I did what I call fake quilting. So just playing and getting to know my sewing machine and getting to practice all of those things, because I'm a new sewer. So I do have some fabric I'd like to show. And then there is, I meant to write it down. I'm so sorry. One of the fabric companies is on Etsy. I will link it in the comments because I would love to give a shout out to them on Etsy. They have some great fabrics. I will show them to you. Both of the companies that I'm going to show you are local in North Carolina. I know the one you can go into the store because I've been on the store, and the other one I'm not sure. I actually want to reach out to them because I have friends that live in the Raleigh-Cary area that we get together and craft. And so when we go up there, there's always a couple of craft stores that we try to hit that we don't have down here. One of those is my fabric store. So my girlfriend Jenny and I will run over there and hit a couple of those stores. So let me go into whips. I have been participating in Stitchmaynia. So if you don't know what Stitchmaynia is, it originally started off as a started day in May, in the month of May, Stitchmaynia. And it was basically a way to start some projects, get stitches in. The hardest part for a lot of stitchers, for me, is picking out the fabric, picking out the floss. If you're making any changes, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Getting all of the stuff together and actually sitting down, getting if you use a hoop, figuring out where you're going to start on the fabric. I am a corner starter. I'm not a good middle starter. I used to do it. A lot of projects that I do now, I start in the corner. It's just easier for me. I don't know why, but it is. So those are it's kind of harder to get started. So the biggest thing is if you get these projects out and you kit them up and you start them, you've got to start. Then you can rotate them and work on them. And that's kind of what Stitchmaynia is for me. I pulled out many projects that I had kitted up on my shelves because I love to kit. I actually think it's a separate hobby. Don't ask me why. I don't know. Excuse me. I have allergies. The rain is stirring things up. You would think it doesn't, but whatever it is rain, probably mold, that bothers me. I don't know. But anyhow, I pulled out a bunch of projects. I had them in a separate basket, and I basically went through that basket and I pulled out projects each day in May, and I started a project that I had. These were all projects that I've been wanting to start, and I started them, sat down and started them. I still have things in that basket because I pulled out more than I would use because I didn't know what would hit me on each day. And that's kind of the way I stitch. I don't really have a schedule in stitching. I kind of stitch what speaks to me on that particular day, or something I've worked on before and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to get back to that. I just enjoy it so much. And I enjoy all the projects I do. If I don't enjoy them, I don't stitch them. So that was kind of a fun thing. What I didn't realize about Stitchmaynia, and I said this before, I didn't realize how hard it would be to start a project and then put that project down and go to something else each day. So in the beginning of the month, I was very good about starting a project each day, putting it away and doing something else. As the month has gone on, I would sometimes, it was Friday, and I would sneak in an extra day working on that project. So sometimes I didn't get as much stitching done on one day, and I wanted to have another day because I just didn't get enough in. So that was something that I didn't think that I would find, if that makes sense. Like, it was hard to put that away. So I think I'm pretty much done with Stitchmaynia. It is the 28th. I don't have many more days. I might start one more project. I haven't totally decided, and I'm just going to kind of feel it out. But I have gotten some really good starts for me that I really wanted to start. So I'm very, very pleased with Stitchmaynia, and these will go in my rotation. The month of June is going to be working on just whips. With the exception of my birthday is in June. As I like to tell, June 21st. The First day of summer, longest day of the year, as I like to remind my mother. So I might have a start on my birthday. I don't know. I haven't decided because I don't plan. So whatever, I thought if I'm going to start Stitchmaynia and I don't like it, I'll just stop doing it. I won't participate. I did like it, but it was hard to put those projects down. So I'm going to dive in and I'm going to show you, I'm going to go, hold on. I need to grab my stuff. Hold on. I have it all around me and I don't have my carts over here today. So I kind of had it on just everywhere. So my first project, and I'm just going to open up the bags. I still have not put labels on my project bags. Janet Jabber, if you watch Janet Jabber, she does awesome project bags. And yes, hers are the Vanna Pfeiffer's tutorial, which is the envelope project bag. And it's made with Velcro. So for a beginner sewer, it is perfect. Check out Vanna. Janet puts a clear vinyl patch here that you can slip a card in. I really need to do that. I haven't done it yet. I don't have vinyl, so that's kind of one reason. And the other thing is I don't know how to sew on vinyl yet. I mean, I've watched YouTube videos on it and I've gotten hints on it, but I just haven't done it yet. So that's why I say I don't know how to do it because I haven't technically done it. So anyhow, moving on. This is a bag that I fake quilted. So you can see my lines. I used a variegated thread. Let me show you on the back because it's easier to, So you can see the fake quilting that I did, and I did it with a variegated thread. That's a lot of fun. So I've been free motioning it and just practicing, and that's been fun. So, okay, moving on. Okay, this pattern is actually one of my favorite starts that I've done. I'm going to say that with all of them, just so you know. This is Through the Storms from Silvercreek Samplers. And this is fantastic. I love this chart. So let me show you my start and then I'll tell you a little bit more. So this is my start on it. I have the clouds, I started the words, and I have some of the, hold on, I gotta see. I got some of the raindrops. I think I still have some stitches. Yes, it's still missing some stitches in the raindrops here. So I haven't filled them all the way in. But it's so pretty. It's just amazing. I love this piece. I chose to do it on a rainbow fabric, which I actually bought this for another piece that I'm going to show you that I started that I thought I would use it on. And it didn't come in time, and I started the other one because I found a piece of fabric that I liked. And then when I started kitting this up and trying to find fabric, I was like, oh my gosh, I have that rainbow even weave. That would be perfect for this pattern. So what I love about this pattern is Silvercreek Sampler says, and it's just on the bag, as a newlywed in 1994, I understood marriage always wouldn't be sunshine and roses. Over the years, we've had our share of storms and thorns. Sharing an umbrella doesn't make the storms go away, but it helps to know that you're not weathering the storm alone. This sampler would make a thoughtful wedding gift along with a new umbrella. And I think that is an adorable idea, is to like get a bride and groom, or maybe just for a bridal gift, an embroidered umbrella or something like that, a fancy umbrella, and then stitch this. I think that would be so precious. This is a chart I will be keeping because I could do that as a gift. So I always try to think on charts, would I use them again? This is one I will use again. I have seen versions on Instagram where instead of the red, they have changed the colors. They're all beautiful. So one more time, there's my rainbow piece. I think it's gonna look really nice on this fabric. I will be putting me and my husband's, it has a spot down here. I don't know if you can see it. You put your initials and then your wedding date. And then this one, the little puddle, I guess you would put the date you stitched it. So I kind of liked that. So I'm doing that for us. Love that one. So I couldn't wait to start that one. I can't wait to get back to that one. That one is a fun stitch. And I'm trying to think. Hold on, I'm going to tell you wrong. So let me look at it. So if you don't know, what I'm looking at is my planner. And my planner has everything that I worked on. Everything gets its own page. And I make any notes of what I'm doing on this page. So Through the Storm. Okay, that is 28 count Over the Rainbow from Crossed Wing Collection is the fabric. I don't have any notes. Sorry, hold on. I threw it down on the floor and I don't have any notes that I see in here. So I think I'm using all of the called for threads. If I'm substituting something, it's because I didn't have the color and I'm using from stash. So I think I'm using everything called for. So what I use, and I can link this down below as well, is the Canva Bullet Journal from Catherine Pooler Designs. And it is a bullet journal. So the front page has all of my whips wrote down and numbered. If I finish the whip, I have them checked off. I actually just need to take a highlighter and highlight it so it's better. So as you can see, I have a lot of whips. And then each project has its page. It'll have the name, the designer, my start date, the fabric, any special notes that I have on that project is on that page. The back of the book is where I use my Flosstube notes. So I make sure, like I wanted to make sure I had people wrote down that didn't win. I wanted to make sure I mentioned them this week, or people that won that hasn't contacted me. I guess that's clear as mud, right? Okay, so Canva, it's a perfect cross stitch book for me. Easy breezy. I will redo this book at the first of the year if I don't need a new one. My problem is I have plenty of pages left so far. Stitchmaynia kind of got in there and used up some pages. Okay, so let me go through some more whips. Okay, this is another Silvercreek Samplers. And this is Dorothy's Discovery. So I saw this on Instagram. Well, I had this chart and then I saw people that had stitched it as a sal at one point. Lisa Pitts Dye stitched this in grayscale. It was phenomenal. I loved it. So I reached out to Lisa and said, hey, I just wanted to let you know I would love to do that chart. I'd love to use your grayscale as inspiration. I hope that's okay. And she was like, absolutely. She actually sent me her Dorothy's Discovery conversion, and where she wrote down everything so nicely. She put it in a message and I printed it out. I haven't used it all the way because I had colors pulled and I had started it before Lisa sent me the conversion. But some of the colors, it's funny because some of the colors that I'm using are some of the same colors she's using. And then when I got to a tricky spot, I looked at hers and kind of said, oh, okay, let me see what I got. And then sometimes I've used inspiration for hers. So my color conversion definitely is coming from Lisa Pitts Dye. If you don't follow her on Instagram, do. She is very talented. But I've used some of just what I have in stash. So sometimes I didn't have the number that she used, or I already started. So it's okay. So this is going to be done in all grayscale, except for her shoes and the hearts. So there's hearts right here. Her shoes and the hearts will be done in sparkly toile. It does not show up on camera. It is sparkly. I cannot get you to see it. Maybe you can see a little bit right there. I love this. This is fantastic. I just love it. Let me see what color fabric I'm using. I have so many pieces of paper in this bag for that Sal, or that project. I have a string. I don't know what it is. We'll put that to the side because I have no idea what it goes to. Okay, so I am using 28 count Lugana mushroom. Yeah, so this is my start. It's been very, very fun to work on. I like the grayscale even better. You can't really see the bird because I moved my thing up here, but the bird's done. Her skirt's done. Her feet's done. Yes, even her shoes. I'm working, I think I still have some more on this rainbow, and then I'm bringing it down going into the grass. Very fun project. Something totally different. My idea for that is I would love to put that up in like, my dressing area, I guess you could call it, since it's a really girly pattern. I like that. Okay, let's see. This one has tons of thread. Oh, now I know why. Okay, let me try to get the patterns because I have working patterns in here, working copies, and then I have my patterns. Oh, they're up front. Okay. So I am working on the early American from Little House Needleworks. So let me just show you all the charts. So this is Molly Pitcher. Nathan Hale. I love that red house. Paul Revere. This is Freedom. So the idea is that you're supposed to stitch these in, or you can stitch them all together if you don't want to do them individually, and this would be the middle block. I am stitching them individually to be finished into little pillows for my dough bowl, just like they show. That is Abigail Adams. Once again, I love the house. Betsy Ross. And, whoops, I'm missing one. Oh, no, I'm missing two. Hold on. We have Martha Washington. That is a huge house, but very pretty. Patrick Henry. And then we have the one that I started, which is John Hancock. And here's my start. Let me put some paper behind it so it doesn't, there you go. I love this. First of all, this fabric, let me tell you the fabric, because this is the fabric that I ordered from Stony Creek. Because when I got the fabric, I will tell you, the picture online does not look that great. It looks very orangey. I don't want to say it doesn't look great. Let me rephrase this. It does not look like the fabric that I received. It looks very orangey online, like a tan with an orange hint in this, and this does not look orangey at all. It looks old and distressed, and it's the perfect fabric for it. This is Sandstorm 28 count by Crossed Wing Collection. It's beautiful. I loved it. When I started using it, I'm using the whole piece. Well, I have a piece big enough, I think, to do most of them, but I might run out, so I ordered another piece. I actually think I ordered 2 pieces so that I would have enough to finish this series, and then I would have an extra piece to do a different project on it, because it's so pretty. I love it, and it stitches really, really nice. It's not a wonky linen, so I like that. I'm still learning linen. Basically, I will look at, with this, I wanted to do these as pillows. So they're gonna go in my dough bowl. I want them kind of bigger, not bigger pillows, but I wanted them to be a little good mini pillow. So I did it on 28 count. So I go through my stash and I look for 28 count, or that would be 14 count, anything that would work. And then I kind of work with the color. That's how I pick my fabric. I don't seek out fabric necessarily. Like I don't say, oh, this has to be on this kind of fabric. Some projects I think really call to using certain fabrics. Some of them I think you can use whatever. Well, you can use whatever you want to anyhow, but I think some, for me, call to me to use an even weave or a linen. Some of them call to me like that's an Aida. I don't know. The project just tells me, I think, what I want to use. I don't think I described that very well, but I don't very often use called for fabric because I normally don't have it. So I use however I'm going to use the piece is what I pick. I have another project that I needed to make sure it was on 14 count or 28 count because I need those items as big as they could be because I'm going to make them into mini pillows and they're small little items. So that's why I chose those. I left my pattern out. So that's kind of why I choose fabric sometimes because I'm like, oh, I'm going to use it for this. I need to make sure it fits in this frame. I need to go to a smaller fabric or, smaller count fabric. That's kind of how I pick stuff. Useless information that nobody asked me to share once again. Okay. The next one that I am doing, let me get out the pattern. I think my working copies are in the pattern, is Autumn Quakers by Rosewood Manor. And it is beautiful. So the picture looks fantastic, but it's not until I started stitching that I realized how pretty this is. So I started up here in this corner and I worked on this. I think I only worked on this one day, but there might be a day and a half of stitching in here. There is my start. I'm gonna tell you, this is beautiful. The colors are beautiful, and I'm not even sure that it's popping as much as it does in real life. It's a lot of color changes in a small area because there's a lot of different colors. There's blocks of color, I should say, but like this is a different color from this, from this, from this. So it's just beautiful though. Yeah, I have really enjoyed it. This is with the Valdani thread. I was very worried about them because I had read some reviews online. Oops, I'm missing one. One has popped out. So if you've never used the Valdani threads, they come wrapped in these little spools. Let me show you. And their number, I don't think my camera is going to focus on the number. No, it's still not clear. Okay. It has a little number on it that it coordinates what's on the pattern, so that's why you know which one it is. Some of the threads are variegated and some of them are solid. They're very, very pretty. I was worried about stitching with these because I had heard bad reviews. And then I read more that said there was a batch of them that came out that were not that good to stitch with. Mine seemed to be fine. So I have not had any problems as of yet. I do stitch with one strand. So I was careful on that one to use a 28 count because you're stitching over 2 threads with one strand. So it makes stitching very easy because you're using one strand, but it is thicker than DMC. So I wanted to make sure I stuck with the recommended, and I think the recommended was 28 count. I am using Sand Laguna, 28 count, and there's my start. Very pretty. It's a Quaker. If you've watched me, I think I have figured out that I am obsessed with Quakers because I have started several Quakers during Stitchmania, and it's basically what called to me. And I'm so excited to start these because I've wanted to start these for so long. So I'm just happy to start them. Okay. My next one, let's see. This is, I'm not sure if I showed you this one or not. This is Welcome to Riverdale. I might have showed you this last time. I'm not 100% sure. This is from Country Magic Stitch on Etsy. And she does these vintage travel posters. They're in fandoms. I love this. This is from Lord of the Rings, obviously. I have done several of these on my wall framed, and this is my start. It's not exciting, but it's a start. I do tent stitch these. It looks really big. It's not. They're 4 pages, but they're not 4 full pages, I guess I should say. And they're blocks of color. So they actually do stitch very nicely. And I have so many of hers that I want to do and get done and framed on that wall and finish out that wall so my wall can stop looking wonky, because it looks wonky right now. I used the nails that were already in my wall when I took the pictures off to put up the ones that I had finished already. And so they're not even yet. I need to stitch more. My husband kind of looks at it and he's like, I'm like, it'll get better. I just need time to stitch. Stop bothering me. No. Okay, the next one, I'm not sure if I shared that one last time because it was right at the end. Okay, the next one that I'm doing is The Secret Garden from Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. This is Stitching Book Club. This is part 1, was released on Sunday, I think. Okay, so that's just a digital picture of it. We are reading the book, and you can look under the hashtag Stitching Book Club on Instagram. You can also look under Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. She is on Etsy. That's where you get these from. And then we're reading the book, The Secret Garden. So I have always wanted to participate in one of hers. And the last one was The Three Musketeers. And honestly, I didn't think I could read it. Not a fan. I am a fan of The Secret Garden. I read it years ago when I was little. So I thought that would be fun. I think her next one is Dracula for Halloween, and then I think A Christmas Carol for December. And I think those are all ones that I'd like to do. So this is my part 1 that is fully completed. And I am using all of the called for threads except one, which I just substituted for something in stash. I don't actually think it's on this part of the chart yet though. It is so pretty. This piece, she recommended using chocolate raspberry, and this piece is really hard to see. That looks bad because it's getting yellow. Okay, so there you can see it does have a little reddish tone to it. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know what this color is. It is Picture This Plus. It is, I thought it was 14 count. I actually think it's maybe 16 count. But it was a mystery one from my stash, and I'm just using what I had from stash because it was very close. I think she said that the color chocolate raspberry was close to 3858, and this was very close to that. So I felt very confident using that for my stitching, and I really enjoyed that. The colors really pop on that, and I've enjoyed that. So I'm done with part 1. I'm waiting for part 2. I think that will be released in 2 weeks, I think. I don't know. I can't remember the schedule right now. It'll be released another time, and I will start stitching that. Okay. But you can join anytime, and if you're interested, please join. Okay, this is Quaker Christmas 2. See, another Quaker. This is from Bygone Stitches. I don't know what's up here with my copy, and I don't know what this is. And it's not my copy, it's the copy that I got. Maybe that's, I don't know. Does everybody's copy look like that? Like, this is the actual chart. This isn't my working copy. This is what I bought from the store. I don't know. That's kind of random, but this is beautiful. So I am using the call for threads mainly because I had already ordered them from way back when I ordered them from 123 Stitch because it calls for a lot. So I actually think I'm gonna have more than I need because I'm stitching this on 40 count, Weeks Dye Works, and the color is called Linen. Let me get a piece of paper behind that so you can see. I don't have a huge start, but there's my start. It's called for threads, and it just calls for 2 colors, Gentle Arts Currant and Gentle Arts Blue Spruce. But you need, I don't think it tells you on here. There's a lot. If you do it on, they called for 28 count. I'm not doing mine on 28 count. So this is the whole bag of floss that I ordered. So I don't know that you can see the color difference. They are red and green, but they're very, very deep. So to me, I think this could stay up all year, even though it's a Christmas piece. So that's the Blue Spruce, and that's very hard to see. Where's a blank piece of paper, Michelle? Okay. So there's the green, and there's the red, and there is variegation there. It's very hard to see on camera, and of course it doesn't help that it's very dark outside. I saw the sun came out, and then the sun went back away. So I think we're supposed to get more rain today as well. I think there's a tropical storm coming in. Yay. So anyhow, this is beautiful linen. I don't have any issues working on the 40 count, although I do use I use magnifier to work on it. I do like that it's dainty and your stitches look really pretty. That's, I think, the advantage of 40 count. So I've enjoyed that. Once again, another Quaker. I'm sort of obsessed. And I'm just gonna, it's okay. It's okay, I can be obsessed with Quakers. Okay, the next one, let me get my page out so I can tell you about it. I thought it was, I'll keep looking, hold on. I know it's not back that far. Okay, this one is, I started this at the beginning of the month. That's why. It's not a new start, but I did work on it. So one night I had just a couple of hours, just maybe an hour, not even a couple of hours, just an hour to stitch. And I didn't want to start something. I really didn't have time. So I just pulled out a project that I had started already, and I have threads everywhere, so I'm trying to figure out where these threads are going. Okay, so this is Alpaca Farm from the Blue Flower. It is shown finished in a drum, but if you look down here, there's the pattern. And I love that. I don't think I'm gonna finish this in a drum. I think I'm gonna finish it as a strip because I think it's so pretty. Those little alpacas, and it kind of has a little Quaker motif to it, so I love that. So I finished the red on the barn, and I started on a little bit of the grass. I filled in some more of the Quaker detail on the barn. You can see this ghost llama right now, or alpaca, ghost alpaca, because he's not filled in yet, but there's a spot for him. So not a huge exciting start, but as you can see, it's really, I really enjoy it. I've gotten a lot of questions on this on Instagram. A lot of people really like this. So it is Alpaca Farm from the Blue Flower. And I am stitching mine on Romance from Silk Weavers. Once again, I picked this because it looked like a blue sky to me. So that's why I picked it. Simple enough. Wanted a blue sky, went to my drawer that had the blues in it and picked one that would work. 14 count, because this is not a huge project, so it can be a little bit bigger count. So love that. Oh, I forgot to put my my board back in there. That's not going to be helpful. Oh, that goes in the other one. See, if I don't put these away right, oh my goodness, I'll get to opening this up and then I won't have my pattern in there. That would be terrible, 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 terrible. I'll be looking for it and I won't, okay. All right, I'm just gonna put this to the side. It goes in one of these bags. It's like two whips ago. Okay, we're gonna move on. Okay, so the next ones that I have been working on is another what I'll call series. And I have pulled all of the floss colors. They're all in my bag to do the whole series, to do all of these. And I am simply grabbing scraps of fabric because these are tiny. So let me share with you first all of the patterns. All of these are from Heartstring Sampler, Festive Little Fobs. And this is Summer Garden Edition. This is Seaside Edition. Those little fish and that little crab kill me. I'm going to love it. This is Beekeeping Edition. Woodland Edition. Stitching Edition. Winter Edition. Harvest Edition. Coffee Edition. Lots of patterns here. Tea Time Edition. I love these tea pictures over here like that. I think that's so cute. Springtime Edition. Christmas Edition. Valentine Edition. And Americana Edition. This is a newer one. I think it just came out. And then Barnyard Edition. This is the one that I started with. Love it, love all of it. So some of these, I have just grabbed, these are quick, which is why I have so many patterns, okay? These take no time at all. One afternoon, I sat down and I did multiples of these. So far, I have done the little chicken, the tractor, the little pig in a circle. Let me see if I can, hold on. I don't know which way is top. I'd have to look at it, but I don't know. Doesn't matter. This one I just made up with our last name and the year to put in the dough bowl as well, because it does include an alphabet. The barn and the goat with the little sheep. And then I'm working on the horse. Now, as you can see, this is a 5-inch frame or 5-inch hoop. So they are small. I am hoping to finish these into mini pillows, but I'm afraid that they're going to be too small. So I'm kind of trying to, I've left myself plenty of fabric around each one just so that I have options. My idea is to fit them in mini pillows and maybe do, and I don't know what they're called. If anybody knows what this is called, please leave me a message. Where you do the pillow, but like there might be on the front of the pillow, there would be the stitch part and then a piece of fabric down here to kind of make them bigger. That's what I was thinking about doing. What is that method called? Is there something is that called something? I don't know. I'm trying to getting my idea and I wanted to look through some tutorials on YouTube, but I don't know what that's called. So if you know what that's called, other than just a pillow finish, leave me a comment. So that's the horse. I'm working on him. All of the colors, they pretty much use the same. These are just some scraps that I have. I've been using 14 count Picture This Plus Tyco, and I'm just using scraps. I will change them. I think I have some murky scraps I'm going to use for some of them. It'll be literally scraps that I have. That's what I'm going to use for those. They stitch very quickly. They're fun little stitches, and you can feel like you're getting a lot done. So I'm hoping to work and use some of those as pillows, make some of those into pillows. Maybe this weekend. I'll have to see if I get to them. I have a couple other things I want to get to. So I don't know if that'll go on the sewing table this weekend. Okay, so this is my next whip. And let me get the name of it. So this is God Save the Queen by Annie B's Folk Art. And I have had this pattern forever. I think it's so cute. So this one, I am doing a little bit of fabric roulette. So this fabric is from Primitive Hair, and it has like the bee. You're not gonna be able to see it. Let me take it off my Q-snap, because then you'll be able to see the whole fabric and see what I'm talking about. I should have done this before, but I didn't do that. Okay, so here we go. This is the fabric that has all of the stuff on the extras. So I am stitching the bee, and I'm hoping it all fits. Now, if it doesn't fit, I can leave the frame off. I can leave some of the other stuff off. So we'll see. I think if I counted correctly, it will all fit kind of in this open section in here. That's my hope. That's my hope. This is a fun stitch. I've had this in my stash for a long time to work on, and I really didn't know what I wanted to stitch it on, so that's why it hasn't been stitched. And I found that fabric that I had, and I was like, I need to stitch that. So let me just put those back on my Q-snap so I don't lose them, and put them in the bag. I think I am subbing some of the colors only to use what I have in stash. So same palette, I'm not changing anything. I'm just using, I don't have all of the called for. So let's put that back in there. That is in my Outlander bag because I'm obsessed with Outlander. Oh, and I forgot to bring, I actually got a couple needle minders that are Outlander. I didn't bring those over. Hopefully I can remember next time. Okay, this is from Twin Peak Primitives, and if you love farm decor, Twin Peak Primitives has some great farm patterns. This is Buy Local. Very, very cute. I'm in love with these little flags around here. It's just so cute. Love this. And I have to get all my threads off here. Get back in there. I don't want to lose anything. Okay. This is my start. It's not that exciting. I've started on the tree, and then you can see some of those flags coming out. This is, let me see if I even know what fabric it is. Yes, it is 16 count Country French Golden Needle Ada. That's literally what the tag said. It's pretty. I have a large border on here, just so you guys know. I did not cut this piece because it was serged, and if I cut it, I was gonna cut like 2 inches off, and I was like, that's silly. I'm not gonna cut 2 inches off because I can't really use 2 inches, I don't think. I mean, I could for scraps and stuff, and I can cut it off at the end. So I have a large border on that one. Okay, we're getting down on my mania. Okay, the next one was Haunted Hill Road from Little Stitch Girl. I'm obsessed with Quakers and houses. This is adorable. Okay, so my fabric, let me get the name of it because I've already had somebody ask me what the name of the fabric is, and I do want to make sure that I tell you the correct fabric name. It is called, it's from Picture This Plus, Crystal Heather 14 count. I will warn you, this is an old piece. I've had it for a long time, so I'm not sure if they still make it. It is beautiful. It is, I have been looking for something to stitch on this. It is such a pretty, like, variegated purple. I just love it. And it is opalescent, or what she calls crystal. I think that's what she called it before. So that's why I say this may be an old piece. So here's my start. I have the moon done, the bat. It does say boo. That shows up better in person. I have a start on the house, trick or treat. Well, trick or the tree. So cute. And here's my crazy needle minder, my dinosaur. It's huge, it's obnoxious, and I love him. So there's my start. I really, really love this one. The fabric is making this one. But Little Stitch Girl has the most adorable house patterns. Check her out. I believe she's on Etsy. Okay. Now, this next one, I'm a little torn with this. I don't know if I'm going to keep it or if I'm going to restart it. So let me know your thoughts. Keep or restart? All right. This is from Plum Street Samplers, Blackbird Frank Turd. All right. So there it is. I've had this in my stash for the longest time. I love it. It's beautiful. I want to stitch it. I am making conversions. There's my conversions, and I'm basically making because I did not have the colors, so I'm just changing them for similar colors. Okay, so here's my problem with this one. I'm trying to get my needle out of the way. Okay, so I am doing this on 18 count Picture This Plus fawn. So on 18 count, I struggle with 2 strands. I think it can look messy to me sometimes. One strand sometimes doesn't always show the color grade. Although I think the color is showing up here pretty, I think I expected it to be bolder and it's not. So maybe it's just not bolder and I'm expecting it to be this loud, bright colors and it's not. What do you think? Does that look okay, or should I restart it on a bigger fabric and use more strands? But then it goes to that I might not have enough strands to finish the project. Yeah, there's that. So I don't know. I mean, when I see it on camera, I think it looks fine. Like, I don't think it looks as muted. I think I just had in my mind that it was going to be these bold colors, and if I want bold colors, then I should have totally changed the colors, and I didn't. So I don't know. Do you ever do that? Do you get something in your mind and then when you start stitching it, you're like, oh, that's not what I thought it was? I guess that's me. And I it's not bad. I like it. I don't know. I don't know. So what does it look like to you? Leave me a comment and let me know. Okay, this is not a very good start. It is 12 Oaks from Country Magic Stitch. Welcome to 12 Oaks. This is from Gone with the Wind. And if you don't know, I am a huge Gone with the Wind fan. I will show you my start. It is not impressive. There it is. That's it. That's all I got. Yeah, but I've started it. Okay, so bringing up Gone with the Wind, I have 2 pieces that were that I showed on my Instagram. So go check those out. I was going to bring them in here today and hold them up so you guys can see it, but honestly, I can't get a good enough video. Like, to hold them up, they're so large, you can't you can't see. And then the glare on the glass, it just wasn't working. So I have pictures on Instagram. There are 2 Gone with the Wind pieces. One is Scarlet. The other one is Tara, with Scarlet running away, which is one of the iconic scenes in the very first part of the movie. In the book, it's the very beginning of the book where she's running away from the 2 twins because she's heard that Ashley is supposed to marry Melanie. So Gone with the Wind is my favorite book. I've read my copy so many times I had to get a hard copy of it. I was talking to somebody on Instagram, and she said, I just got done reading Rhett Butler's People. Rhett Butler's People was not my favorite. It's not a sequel, I guess, but it was not wrote by Margaret Mitchell. It wasn't my favorite because it was from Rhett's point of view, and I guess that's not a fair review of the book, because the book was fine. I just love Scarlet. My favorite sequel was Scarlet, because that really showed that she was enough just being herself. She didn't have to do anything more than be herself. And I loved that. So I love that one. She goes to Ireland. If you haven't read it, read it. It's fantastic. If you haven't read Gone with the Wind, read it. It's fantastic. One of my favorite books. I love it. I just enjoy that so much. So the 2 pieces that I have in my room that I told everybody I would tell the story about on Flosstube, because I can't really type it all. So my local needlework shop is Stitch and Frame in Rock Hill, South Carolina. It's about 45 minutes from me. That's pretty local in Charlotte. So we consider that local. So I was down there shopping one day, and there was these 2 pieces there. And of course my mom was with me, and she knows I love Gone with the Wind. And they were sitting there. I can't remember if the lady said something or my mom asked about them. And the lady said, well, we got them returned to the store. So basically what happened is a gentleman had stitched them for his daughter-in-law as a present. Gave them to the daughter-in-law. They hung in their house for a while. The daughter-in-law and the son got a divorce. So the pieces came back to the son or father-in-law. I'm not entirely sure, but the father-in-law ended up passing away. So the son didn't know what to do with them. He knew that they had been framed at the Stitch and Frame shop. And so he said he just wanted to donate them to the store, and the store could donate the money to, I think it was the Heart Association. So the store said, okay, we'll take them. We'll try to sell them for you, whatever. So I was inquiring about them, and the lady, and I'm looking at these. They are triple matted. They're beautiful. The frame's crazy. And so I was thinking, well, I'm not going to be able to afford these. This is fantastic. And so she was like, make me an offer. I can't remember how much I paid for them, but it wasn't that much. It was under what I thought, had I stitched them, that I could frame them for, honestly. That was just my thought. They were happy to accept my offer. Well, I think we negotiated a little bit. And I came home with the 2 pieces. They originally had a plaque on them that said, stitched by so-and-so for the daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law's name. Of course, I didn't want that on my wall because I don't know any of those people, but I had them change the placard. So I paid for them to change the placard. So one says Tara and one says Scarlett O'Hara on it. And I had them tape the original placards to the back of the frame so that it just kind of is a nice story. They are beautifully stitched. When I tell you they are done on linen, they are, I tried to find a flaw in one stitch that was wonky. I can't find it. They are railroaded stitched. They are beautiful. The guy was definitely a master. So I'm so sad that his son didn't want to keep them, or the daughter-in-law didn't want to keep them, because even as a present, I would have kept them. They're so pretty. But I'm really glad that I got a chance to bring them home and give them a home that I will love them and look at them every day and enjoy them. So that was, my husband finally hung them up for me this weekend. They've been in the paper, like when you go get something professionally framed, they put the paper all around it so it kind of protects it. They've been in the paper stored, And I was like, okay, can you like hang these up now? So also in the picture, there is a string that hangs, go on Instagram. There's a string that's hanging from my headboard because that's where my headboard weighs 400 and some pounds. It's a huge headboard. It's a Drexel Heritage. We got it when we first got married. It's beautiful. I still love it to this day. It's heavy, and that's just that's the headboard. That's not the footboard. That's not the rails. That's not anything. That is the headboard only. So we have a king size bed. We put the TV on to go to sleep at night. What will happen is we fall asleep, and my husband, if I fall asleep before him, my husband listens to the TV way louder than any human person should ever listen to the TV. And it will be blaring. Like I will wake up and it's blaring, and then we couldn't find the remote. Like he would have the remote on his side of the bed, or it had fallen off, or gosh forbid it fell behind the headboard, because I have like T-Rex arms, so I can't get my arm down the back to get it, and the TV's blaring. And the TV is up on our wall on a TV, it hangs from the wall, like it's on the wall. I can't reach the TV. So I can't get up and turn it off because I can't reach it. So my husband, after we've done this for how many years? We've been married 20 plus years. This has always been an issue for us. My husband took the remote and put a bolt on the back of it and put a string. And then he put, I don't know what it is. I think it's a weighted washer. And so it hangs over our headboard. And so you can pull the remote, change the channel, and you can put it back, and it will always go only to where that weight goes to the floor. It's perfect solution, because now when you're half asleep, you kind of like swat at the headboard to try to find where the string is, and then you could pull the remote, you could turn it off. I know, engineering at its best. We have no other solution other than that, and it's worked for us for a while. My niece came up and watched the dogs for us and stayed at our house when we were in Vegas. And I was telling her, like, I showed her, around, like, she's been to my house and stuff, but like when you're staying at somebody's house, you need to know specifics. So I was telling her, here's the remote for the TV, here's the remote for the family room TV. And I showed her the remote on the string in our bedroom, and she started cracking up laughing, and she's like, it's like soap on a rope. And I'm like, yes, it's a remote on a rope. And she's like, that's funny. It solves the problem. So there's my two stories. If you have a remote issue, string, weighted washer, yeah, there you go. It's a perfect solution. Okay, I have one more whip to show you guys, and I started this last night. This is the Addams Family from the Little Stitcher. It is adorable. The only problem is, it's not a problem, but this comes out to be 124 by 147 high. So it's roughly 7.5 by 9.5 inches big. I don't really need to frame something that big for Halloween. So what I want to do is make them into mini pillows and put them in my dough bowl. So each person will be a pillow. Every person, the house will be a pillow, and then the Addams Family will be a pillow as well. All of them little mini pillows. So for this, I knew I needed a 14 count. Let me see what color this is called, because it does have a name. This is 14 count Prank from Picture This Plus. And this is my start last night. I only had about an hour, maybe two, and I started Morticia. So because I'm doing them a little differently, I'm going to bring down, like I've moved her over a little bit so she's centered, and this will come down and this will come down, and it'll give her a little frame. Even though the pattern only has it like this, I've moved her over and I'm going to bring the frame down. I'll do the same thing for Gomez. I probably will do something different for the characters down here. I probably will just do like a top and a bottom frame for them, just for something a little different. And then the house will be all by itself. So I am super stoked about these. I had another piece of orange fabric. When I pick out fabric, if I'm going to do something that stays on my wall all the time, I may or may not want a really bright piece of fabric on my wall. So like this is kind of bold. This is perfect for seasonal stuff that you're going to switch out. That's where I end up using a lot of my wild color, what I consider wild color fabrics, is because I'm going to switch these out. And they're mini and they're a great use for them. So I dug this out. I actually looked at Picture This Plus Eek and I loved it, but the facial color, and I haven't filled her face in yet, the facial color was very similar to some of the variegation in Eek, and I was worried that her face would blend in. All of the characters' face would blend in. So I went with this. My son actually said he thought this color was the best. And I thought, you know, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to use this piece up. This is perfect. Here's my little needle minder from Etsy. It's a hearse. Is that not perfect from the Addams family? So that's one I'm very excited on. I'm actually probably going to stitch on that today because I didn't get to stitch much on it yesterday. Okay, so I'm going to go through a little bit of stash. This one is Silvercreek Samplers. This is Dandy Dreams. And I'm not sure. Take a breath, gently blow, spread your dreams, and let them grow. So I think that's really pretty. I love that it's just not a flower, that it's a weed, and I just think that's cute. Okay, this is from Bygone Stitches, Quaker Piece. I will not be using these colors. I will pick something. I don't know what I'm going to pick, but I'm going to pick something. This is Jordan Privé. Another Quaker. A Quaker with a twist, because she's very pretty, the little lady. Love that one. This is from the Blue Flower. This is Night Walked Down. And I just think it's very pretty. This is Cluck Cluck Farm from Artful Offerings. That's hard to say. My intention is to do the chicken and the chicks, but not do this blue line on here. I just like the chicken. Like, I think that's fantastic. I haven't found the perfect fabric yet, but I'm working on it. Also from Bygone Stitches, One Nation Sal. This is going on with Janet Jabber, and if you have not seen this stitched up, it is beautiful. So check out Janet Jabber. She works on this every week. It is so pretty. She's inspired me to buy it. I just need to find the perfect fabric. Okay, this is Paradise Stitchery Sunflower Barn. I just think that's so cute. And from Rosewood Manor, Quaker Compass. Yes, another Quaker. How many Quakers can I have? I don't know. Okay, so that is all that I'm sharing. And as you can see, I rambled on and on and on today. So I'm so sorry about it being long. Hopefully you got some stitching done while you watched me. I want to do the giveaway. This week I'm going to do Little House Needleworks Early American Patrick Henry. So if you would like to stitch Patrick Henry, put Patrick in your comment. It can just be stuck at the end, Patrick. Because that's what I'll pull from on the random generator so that they can look for the word Patrick. So if you want to stitch that, Patrick, and I will stick that in the mail to whoever wins. The other two winners, please contact me so I can get those charts out to you. And I think that is it. So I do not think I'm going to start anything else from Stitchmaynia. I might have one more start in me. I have some silks that I would love to stitch with, and I'm thinking about doing them in a Quaker. I don't know if I'm going to start that or just kind of kit it up and put it to the side for right now. Maybe that'll be my birthday start next month. I don't know. My plan is on the month of June is to not have any starts except maybe on my birthday and work on what I have. And then July is going to be Christmas in July. So I will be doing my Christmas ornaments for my kids. That shouldn't take up my whole month of July. So I will be able to do some other stuff in July. I don't know if I will figure out that I need to make an ornament for somebody else. I don't know if I will say I'm going to make 2 ornaments per kids. I do need to finish up my Prairie Schooler ornament for this. I don't have the one for this year. I haven't ordered it yet, but I have one that I'm doing for this year, if that makes sense. I put the date on it that I stitch it. I don't put the date on it that's in the chart because I haven't stitched any of them and I want to stitch all of them. So I don't want to put back dates on them. So I just put the year that I stitched them. So I need to get this year's chart because it was just released. It's adorable. Love it. I think it's called Northwind Santa. And love that. So I need to finish up my Prairie Schooler and I need to do the boys' ornaments. So that's 4 ornaments right there that I need to finish up. So I will do that. I might jump on and do some more ornaments. I might just do some more Christmas stitching. I don't know. But that's kind of my rough plan on what I'm going to do. So I hope everybody has had fun participating in Stitchmania. If you didn't participate, I hope you had fun watching everybody else Stitchmania. I know I have enjoyed watching everybody start projects, and there's been so many projects that somebody has started and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. I need to put that on my wish list. So thank you to all of the enablers. Okay, so thank you for stopping by and spending time with me today. Like, subscribe, recommend to your friends. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys soon.